Well, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and today the word of the day would be moving. Well, hi everybody, this is DearMamaSal, and as you can see, I'm on the move. And what I wanted to talk to you about was the amount of discipline I have had around getting more sleep. I found out, to my absolute horror, by wearing my Fitbit. I cannot tell you how much the Fitbit has surprised me in terms of the information it gives me. So you will have heard me talk about the fact it tells me how much of each level of sleep I get, which I didn't expect, quite honestly, when I got the watch. But the other thing, of course, it tells me is exactly how much sleep I'm getting. And I was literally in a position where I was getting sort of by like 5 hours sleep a night. And it wasn't because of anything other than the fact I was not behaving myself. I was acting like a teenager. And I've got to say that I was busy doing things that were fun rather than things that were important. And so I wonder if any of you are, nodding your heads and going, yeah, been there. So what I decided to do was to get some discipline. And the discipline was about going to bed at a regular time. Now, I'm a night owl, so I didn't say to myself, I've got to be in sleep by 9 or anything stupid like that, because it's not what I do. But within the realms of what I do, I wanted to get pretty consistent about what time I actually went to sleep. And then the other thing was that I wanted to make sure that I worked towards getting at least 7 hours sleep a night. And the way that I did it was I'm one of those people, I sleep best with white noise going on around me. So what I do is around about 2 hours before I think I need to be asleep, I stop doing what I call busy work around DearMamaSal or the move or anything else like that. And I have the discipline to say, okay, that's it, stop. And then I allow myself time to watch television. Most of it is on computer, but television type stuff that I want to see, because I find that that's pretty boring stuff most of the time. It doesn't require a whole lot of my concentration. And then after an hour of that, and sometimes 2, normally it's about an hour and a half actually, so somewhere in there, about an hour and a half, 2 hours, I actually put on something that's really boring. Preferably with somebody who's got a monotone voice. And I do that, I've got a couple of programs that I can put on that, have got playlists going of very boring sounding people. And what I do is I actually turn my back to the computer. I don't turn it off because I need the noise. But I turn my back to the computer and I fall asleep within minutes. So what I've managed to do is to move from an average of about 5 hours a night. I'm noticing at the moment I'm up 7 hours and 33 minutes average. That's quite a shift. And all it took was a bit of discipline. I had to choose that I was more important than the things that were stimulating to me, that were, things that made me childlike because I was enjoying them so much. So this is about, no, I need to grow up now and get some discipline back. It's the same thing as some of you know about my weight. I just over the last 3 months have put on all the weight that I lost last year. And you and I both know that didn't just come on by accident. That came on because I was filling my face with stuff. I didn't have the discipline. And yet, the strange thing was, I was keeping track of my calories. And I wasn't lying to the best of my knowledge, but somewhere or another, it wasn't all meshing up. I'm not quite sure how that's possible, but some of you may know. So in other words, I wasn't apparently eating that much more. So either I was clean forgetting on a regular basis to put in what I was actually eating, or else, even though I was counting calories, I still put on weight. I don't quite understand. Now, I've got to be fair on this one. I was talking to Sakura, some of you who know our viewer Sakura, otherwise known as Bernice. She was talking the other day about the difference between dead food and alive food. Now that sounds pretty interesting. But I believe what she was talking about was when you eat fresh vegetables, call that, alive food. But if you've boiled the heck out of it or fried the heck out of it or whatever, then it's pretty dead. So the other bit of discipline is for example, yesterday, instead of having what I probably would have had normally, I literally filled up a breakfast cereal bowl of carrots and celery, and then took it with me to the computer. And it really is quite surprising. When you've got them next to you at the computer, you eat them without even thinking. It's a bit like eating chips. I just want to tell you, the air quality today is really bad. And I don't know if you can see it behind me, but you can't see the sky. And it's a hot day. It's close to 80 degrees, or 23 if you're in Canada. It's close to that sort of heat, and I can't see the sky, and yet you can feel the sun. So the issue about discipline, I was just wondering how many of you know that you are a little bit out of discipline on something. And if you are, the first step is forgive yourself. There's no doubt about that. I'm not going to lose weight by beating up on myself. I'm not going to sleep better by beating up on myself. Make sense? The way that I sleep better is get better discipline and get better control over what time I go to bed. And to make sure that my body is relaxed enough that it is ready to go to sleep. The way I lose weight is to stop stuffing my face with carbs, up my rate of doing things that bring up my heart rate. For example, go up and down the stairs a lot more, carrying boxes, for example, down to the garage would be a really good idea. Or even if I go up and down, sliding the boxes down the stairs if they're heavy, that also still is using a lot of muscles and therefore will bring up my heart rate. And my heart rate coming up obviously burns calories and so forth. Of course, we all know that if I got myself out of the front door and with my runners on, or plimsolls for those of you who are in England, or sneakers, or whatever it is you call athletic shoes, because there's so many different names for them. So if I did that and went for a walk, just 10 minutes, it would all help. Why? Because it's more steps. So that's my story about discipline, and I'm telling you my story because I'm sure that some of you have got your own, and if you have, feel free to leave a comment below as to what it is that you're going to give a little bit more discipline to. Doesn't have to be big. Remember, we change our lives by taking baby steps in the right direction. Very baby steps in my case. So, but do you understand that beating up on yourself is really not the answer? Having excuses as to why is great. I could come up with a whole stack of them for you. But it's not going to help me lose weight. Having a whole stack of excuses about what I was up to, it's not going to help me get more sleep. I need to grow up and get more discipline back in my life. I can do this. Big hugs. This is Dear Mama Sal saying bye-bye for now.